Check out the links in the description for my favorite apparel, Bibles, books, commentaries, and more. Howdy, y'all. I'm Brylan. Here we go. Timmy AWOL calls for the Electoral College to be abolished. We need a national popular vote. Gee, I wonder why they're saying this. You know, this is something that the left is notorious for. Whenever they're losing an election, they start crying about the Electoral College. You know, when they can't win on the systems that are already established, that are quite brilliant, by the way, then they start crying and throwing a fit and saying it needs to be abolished so that we can have a better chance at winning. However, I don't believe for a second that even if we did have just a popular vote, that commie law would win. She's the most unpopular politician that America has probably ever seen. But this is basically like when the left cries that the Supreme Court is upholding the Constitution, so we have to stack the court to save democracy. Hey, real quick, would you hit that thumbs up button? You know, when you like this video, to get pushed out to more people, and it would really help spread the truth. Well, this is not a popular opinion. In fact, it's so unpopular that, well, Commie Law's campaign distanced themselves from what he said and tried to make an excuse. Hey, AWOL, Commie Law is tanking her campaign just fine on her own. Democratic Vice President candidate Tim AWOL said on Tuesday that the Electoral College needs to go, forcing the Commie Law campaign to release a statement saying it does not support abolishing the constitutional mechanism for presidential elections. Hillary Clinton would disagree with you. She whined about it for years. At two campaign fundraisers on the West Coast, Walz called for abolishing the Electoral College, arguing that it forces candidates to focus too much attention on a handful of battleground states. So AWOL, a part of the left, which is the party that's all about representation and inclusion and equity, absolutely hates the fact that all of the United States, the entirety of the country, is represented in every election instead of just California and New York. But look where he said all this at. Walz told donors at California Governor Gavin Newsom's home in Sacramento. Kind of funny how you have AWOL over here talking about wanting to get rid of the Electoral College during the same week that Gavin Newsom made it illegal for you to require voter ID to vote in elections. Yeah, the left is so popular that they have to abolish every system that allows free and fair. The Harry campaign said in a statement, though, that AWOL believes that every vote matters in the Electoral College and that he's honored to be traveling the country and battleground states working to earn support for the Harry AWOL ticket. Don't you love how this works with the left? That they can just say one thing and then turn around and say they said something else and they believe something else other than what they just said, and they're both supposed to be true? Do we really want a guy who describes himself as a knucklehead because he is so bad at thinking and talking that he constantly lies about everything on accident? Of course, these lies aren't on accident. We all know that, but that's the excuse. In fact, watch AWOL get called out on Fox News for his blatant lies. And then I'm going to show you how he was called out during the 60 Minutes interview. And, well, honestly, this should single-handedly lose the election for Commie Law. But thankfully, Commie Law is single-handedly losing the election herself.
Before we go, because I wish that we had a full hour, I want to give you a chance, because you called yourself a knucklehead this week, to talk about some of your misstatements. You've modified your story or explained that you misspoke about things involving your military rank, about carrying a weapon in war, your 1995 DUI arrest, using IVF to have your beautiful children, Gus and Hope, being in Hong Kong and China in the summer of 1989 during the Tiananmen events.
Real quick, they left out a few lies there. He also lied about his coaching position, being deployed to places that he's never actually been, and his state's abhorrent laws are way worse than what he claims that they are. So there's a long list of lies that AWOL has been caught telling. Now, imagine all the things that we don't know about.
A lot of people would say they couldn't get away with saying, I'm just too passionate, my grammar's not right, I'm a knucklehead. What do you say to the American people who think I don't know that I can trust this guy with all those modifications to be the potential commander-in-chief of this country.
Yeah, well, I think they heard me. They heard me the other night speaking passionately about gun violence and misspeaking. And I got to be honest with you, Shannon, I don't think people care whether I used IUI or IVF when we talk about this.
What
they understand is Donald Trump would resist those things.
You know, this is one thing that you're going to notice about AWOL and commie law is that all they can do, they can't give you any substance. They can't give you an answer. They can't actually convince you of anything. But what they can do is say, it was Trump. So this dude's a liar and has been caught lying countless times now. Yet he says people don't care. People don't care whether he's lying or not. All they care about is the fact that Trump, absolutely pathetic and disrespectful to the American people. But back in August, we saw that AWOL got caught again, where he was facing another accusation of misrepresenting his background after a resurfaced 2006 letter revealed the Nebraska Chamber of Conference asked him to remove claims from his congressional campaign website. They said, we researched this matter and confirm that you have not been the recipient of any award, something that he loved to gloat about. Well, it wasn't true. In fact, he's so allergic to the truth that here's the entire Walls family, all Walls for Trumped out. His own family doesn't trust him. His family even said when they put this picture out that they are 100% opposed to his entire ideology. His own family doesn't trust him. In fact, you gotta love this here too. This was on 60 Minutes. They didn't just interview commie law, but they had a few minutes with AWOL.
J.D. Vance, you said I'm a knucklehead at times. And I think you were referring to the time that you said that you were in Hong Kong during the Tiananmen Square unrest when you were not.
Yeah.
Is that kind of misrepresentation, isn't that more than just being a knucklehead?
I think folks know who I am, and I think they know the difference between someone expressing emotion, telling a story, getting a date wrong rather than a pathological liar like Donald Trump.
But I think it comes down to the question of whether you can be trusted to tell the truth.
Yeah, well, I can. I think I can. I will own up to being a knucklehead at times, but the folks closest to me know that I keep my word.
Okay, if you notice, he had to go and blame Trump again. It's always Trump. People know the difference between somebody who just fumbles his words enough to pretty much lie about everything that he says and a pathological liar. And then you gotta love how he answers the question about himself being trustworthy.
Whether you can be trusted to tell the truth.
Yeah, well, I can. I think I can.
He's lying again. He knows it. So if somebody asks you, can you be trusted? And your answer is, I think, then what that person is saying is, I don't trust what I'm saying, but you should. In fact, here's a news station in Minnesota calling out AWOL for even lying during the 60 Minutes interview.
Earlier on Monday, the governor was not specifically right when he made a claim about Minnesota's paid family and medical leave program. It came in response to a question about criticism from Trump about Minnesota being far to the left politically.
President Trump may be referring to that our children get breakfast and lunch in school so that they can learn. He may be talking about we have a paid family and medical leave policy that was promoted by the business community.
That final statement is not true. The state's major business groups all opposed the paid family and medical leave program crafted by Democrats. The Minnesota Chamber of Commerce, Minnesota Business Partnership, and National Federation of Independent Business all opposed the bill.
We've made the state of Minnesota the refuge for everything but employer.
Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 19 says, the truthful lip shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. You know, the Bible talks a lot about lying and the destruction that it brings and the wickedness that it originates from. You know, you can lie all you want, pump yourself up to be something that you're not and bask in the glory and the honor, but it will only be for a moment. and then it will all be taken away. It will not last. And the shame you feel when you are exposed as a liar is far greater than the praise you receive before you're caught. But hey, let me know your thoughts about all this in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, join this community. I would love to hear from you on a regular basis. And please, hit that thumbs up button. You know, when you like this video, it'll get pushed out to more people, and it would really help spread the truth. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.